I am very excited to see how today's video turns out because I am doing a test of 3 different kinds of bread. As you know, I've been on a protein kick recently, and I also love sourdough. My sourdough has been in my fridge for a while, so I figured it was about time to get it out and try working with it again. And I wanted to combine the two. So I'm going to make 3 loaves today. Also, if you're new here, welcome back. My name's Carrie. This is Keep It Simple DIY. Definitely glad you're here, and this is a good one. So I'm making 3 loaves. The first loaf, I'm just going to make the standard loaf that I'm used to making so that I have like a control. The second loaf, I'm going to be using, well, I don't know which one's second and which one's third, but I'm going to do one with protein powder and one with white beans. So we'll see how this turns out. The protein powder one is the highest in protein, and then followed by the white bean, followed by the regular. And if this works out, I might just do one with both. Probably not today because I won't know until, tomorrow or the next day. But if I like the flavor of both the bean and the protein, if I add those two together, you can get even higher protein. That's my thought. So anyways, I already have 100 grams of starter in this bowl here. I chose this bowl because it has a lid. And I am going to add 350 grams of water. Okay, there we go. Now, a few things I'm doing differently this time. I usually make half batches, so I'm making whole batches today. And then I am also using 100 grams of starter in each. I usually only use 50 grams of starter, and the reason I'm using 100 is because I made way too much starter. So there you go. So now I'm going to add in 500 grams of flour. So that was 195. I didn't mix that. Usually I mix that first. Well, that's okay. Okay, 500. And then you don't want to mix on your scale, but that's all I'm going to do here. I'm going to try to mix, can I mix the bottom in first and then add the top in? I don't know. I am going to add about 10 grams of salt to each of these, but I'm going to wait until I do the stretch and folds. So sourdough is super forgiving. Realistically, you don't even need to measure anything. You just go with feel. It's literally starter, water, and flour, and anything else that you choose to add in it. But I was recently out of town. I brought some starter with me, and I made some bowls in an air fryer. And I definitely wasn't at my house, so I didn't have any of my stuff. I didn't have my Danish dough whisk. I didn't have really any whisk. I just used my hand. I didn't measure anything. And it worked out just fine. So we have this neatly mixed together now. It's a pretty shaggy dough. That's exactly how you want it at this stage. I'm going to just put the lid on it, and I have labeled my lid. I love using wet erase markers to label, so I've labeled this one regular. I'm just going to set it aside. It's going to sit for an hour, and then we will start stretch and folds. For this next one, I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I'm also going to add in 2 scoops of protein powder. And I'm just using this IsoPure whey protein powder with 25 grams of protein per scoop. So I just put the protein powder bread over to the side. I will stretch and fold that and do all the things with that when it comes time. This next one is the beans one, which I am super excited about. I've been wanting to try this for so long. So I just drained and rinsed these beans as well as I could. And so I'm going to just get them all out and into the blender because we want these to be super smooth. We are once again going to use 100 grams of starter. That might have been a little bit more beans than necessary because it said 267 grams. I think it called for 200 grams, but we're gonna go with it. And I'm probably just going to use the rest of this starter because what else am I gonna do with it? We'll see how much this is though. Well, we're at 115. I think we'll be fine with a little bit extra. It's just flour and water. So we'll go, you know, here's me following the recipe. So the recipe called for, I think 270, 280. I think I just told you, but I can't remember already. So I'm just going to put some in here. I think I'm gonna stop at 262. And now we blend it up. I think we are good here. Let's take a peek. Looks good to me. This looks like soy milk. It's not soy milk. Side note, I really love this blender. This is the Ninja, I don't know, Ninja something, but it has little individual pieces that you can put here as well, so you can just have like a single serve smoothie or a smoothie bowl. This thing's fantastic. I've been loving everything Ninja. Not sponsored by them, not affiliated by them, just love it. All right, next up is 500 grams of flour once again, and if you're noticing all the stuff on the counter behind me, that's because I'm getting ready to make some crock pot meals. Oh, 530, 526. That'll be okay, because I added a little bit extra of everything else. That's how I seem to make bread. Mix this one up. I do really love the flow of sourdough. So like yesterday I fed my sourdough starters and that took like no effort at all. And then today I get to mix the doughs together and then I can do the stretch and folds, and none of that's all like too time consuming, but I don't have to really worry about it because I need to stick it in the fridge and you kind of get back to it when you can. And I feel like with yeasted breads, it just kind of seems like a lot all at once that you have to do. So I definitely enjoy how sourdough works with the timing. Now, this smells a little different, so I'm interested to see if I'm going to like it or not. So leave your guesses down below. Which do you think will turn out better? Do you think it'll be the regular, the protein powder, or the beans? And by better, include both better for you and better tasting. Okay, I'm going to set this to the side and we will be back when it's time to stretch and fold. All right, it is time for the first set of stretch and folds, and I'm going to add the salt as well. This is the one with the beans, this is the one with the powder, and this is the regular. So about 10 grams or so. I'm just going to eyeball this. And then I'm going to come in, do a set of stretch and folds on all of them. And then I'm going to let them sit for another 30 minutes after this set of stretch and folds. And then I'll come back and do another set. And then another one after that. And then we're just going to let them sit for the rest of the evening until I go to shape them. Okay, round one, done. I am on the third and final stretch and fold. These have probably sat for about an hour between each stretch and fold just because I was sitting on the couch and the cat was on me and I didn't want to make a move. But as you can see, so much gluten has developed that these are so much stretchier than they were the first time around. I didn't film the second time around. But yeah, these are looking fantastic. I'm gonna rinse my hand again. If you stretch and fold with a wet hand, it makes it not stick as much. This one definitely has a different texture to it because of the beans, so I'm curious to see how it'll turn out. It's like more of a sandy texture, but not gritty. Like the sand has just been blended. Okay, half hour or so, and then we will shape it, and then we'll let them rise, and then cold ferment overnight in the fridge. It is time to shape the dough. They've been sitting for quite a while after that last stretch and fold. I am going to add some rice flour into the banneton and the other bowls that I have out. This will prevent it from sticking to either the cloth, or I guess it's the cloth either way. I only have one banneton, and then I just use a regular glass bowl with a, what the heck is that called? This is a certain kind of cloth. It's a, I'll probably think of it later. So let's see here. I just washed my counter, so my counter is clean. Now this is the plain, so I'm gonna put the plain one in the banneton that is bowl shaped. And then the other ones I will do in the, no, not bowl, that's a batard shape. The bowl shaped ones, I will do the protein ones. That way, I don't know, that way I know which one's which. So we are going to stretch this out. This is my favorite part. Okay, I'm going to fold it over, fold it over. If you were adding any inclusions, this is a step when you could do it, or you could do it earlier even. I'm going to now roll this up into a log. Kind of into a ball instead of a log, but that's okay. The basic gist is you want to build surface tension, that's all. I'm going to put it in top side down, cover it with a little bit more of the rice flour. And I'm gonna make sure to get that rice flour underneath it as well a little bit, even though there was some down there, I just don't want it to stick. And then I need to get a cover over it, and then we'll leave it out for a few hours, and before I go to bed, I will stick it in the fridge. So next up is the powdered protein one, and I will save the, what do you call that? Saran wrap, so I can put it over. I know, I have lids for these. That's why I was, see, there's a reason that I used all of these bowls originally, and then I left these from when I was done, and that's because I have lids for those. Oh my, this is sticky. Okay, I am not good at shaping sticky loaves, so we'll see how this goes. Hydrated loaves is really what that is. Again, we're going to build some surface tension. Whoops, we're losing it. Maybe it is the hydration that's working for me. So I'm just scooting my hand, building the surface tension. This is so fun. I love this. When I was gluten-free for that little bit of time, I so missed playing with dough. I didn't necessarily miss eating gluten. I definitely missed working with it though. Okay, adding rice flour around here so it doesn't stick as well. And the reason I use rice flour instead of regular flour is that rice flour doesn't burn in the oven like regular flour does. Okay, there's that one. I'm going to cover it up like this. Make sure my label stays with it. And last up is the one with the beans. So we'll see how this goes. I think I'll be able to shape it just fine. Today is the more hydrated a dough is, the more smooth I can get it. That's something interesting to learn. But also the more hydrated, the harder it is to get it shaped, usually. Okay, I'm going to call this good. There's a little bubble there. So into here it goes. Rice flour. Put the label with it, and we will see these tomorrow. I've preheated the oven, and now it is time to score these. Now this rose a ton, so hopefully it comes out okay. Let's see. So the oven is preheated to 450. It's early in the morning. It's supposed to be over 100 degrees today, so I'm hoping to get these done really quickly. Oh yeah, that's huge. Let's get this a score, get it in. There we go. So this one is our protein powder. The first one was, what was that? Just regular. Let's see, what do we want to do here? I think I'm going to do a line like this and a line like this. Okay, 30 minutes in the oven. Take the lids off, and then 20 minutes without lids, or until they're done. I just took the lids off. Now we'll let these cook for another 20 minutes or so. They look fantastic. These two just came out of the oven. Here is our regular, and then this one over here is the protein loaf. They were definitely shaped differently. That's why they look different now. I just put the lid back on and put it in the oven, and that's just getting hot again so that I can get ready for the last loaf. time to take the lid off. And let's take a peek. Looking good. About 10 more minutes. The beans bread came out of the oven and it also looks fantastic. It's not quite as dark as the others, and I think that's likely because the lid wasn't as hot since it had been out of the oven for a while. But I'm going to let these completely cool off and then we will taste them all. These have now cooled completely. We went bowling, came back. It is time to give these a try. So I have on top the plain one, the protein powder one is here, and then this one is the bean one. So I want to cut these open and see how we did. Okay, let's see this one. Should we go long ways or short ways across? Let's do long way across. It got a little piece. There's that one. There's just the regular bread. Delicious. Definitely looks a little bit overproofed, which I knew because yesterday it kind of like exploded out the top. But there's that. Now, I think I want to go this direction. This one is the protein powder. It definitely has a crustier edge, which could just be because it was drier dough. All right, that one looks good. Interested in the smells. This one smells just sour. This one smells different with the protein powder. We'll have to give it a try in just a second. And then this one, let's go this way. This one didn't get as crispy, but it also could have been because it had beans in it, so reacted differently. Okay. This one smells more close to this, which is interesting. Okay, let's get a piece of these two to try. Grab some nut butter. Delicious regular old bread. Protein powder bread. Tastes like bread. Yeah, tastes fine. It doesn't taste as sour, but it tastes just like bread. And this is the beans. Tastes like bread. They all taste about the same, is that right? I don't think you can tell the difference. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go bring some of each up to my husband, see if he can tell the difference. I'll let you know. We have the verdict. He could not tell which one was which, but he did have a preference. So his number one top choice was the beans, number two is the regular, number three is the protein powder. But realistically, there wasn't really a big difference in any of them. So these are all a huge win. Maybe on a future day, I will try mixing protein powder and beans together. If you just saw a tail, sorry about that. Anyway, thanks so much for being here. If you want to see me prep a bunch of sourdough for multiple months, I'll put that video here. If you haven't yet, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.